In life, we often find ourselves overwhelmed, uncertain, and lost. Whether it's the weight of everyday responsibilities or the bigger, unexpected storms, it's easy to feel like we're fighting a battle we can't win. But what if I told you that there's a strength greater than anything you could imagine, a source of power and peace that is always available to us? In today's video, I want to take you through a prayer that not only highlights that strength but also helps guide us through life's toughest moments. Stick with me, because by the end, I promise you'll walk away with a renewed sense of hope and a practical way to face your challenges with confidence, acknowledging our limits and trusting in God's strength. We all reach points in our lives where we have to admit that we can't do everything on our own. This realization can be humbling, even terrifying. But here's the truth: recognizing our limits isn't a weakness, it's a step toward tapping into a strength far greater than our own. In this prayer, there's a deep acknowledgement that without God's guidance, we are simply not equipped to handle the struggles that life throws our way. The world constantly tells us to be self-sufficient, to figure it out on our own. But here's the key: it's okay to lean on someone stronger. And there's no one stronger than God. The Bible consistently reminds us that we can't carry the weight of the world alone. It's in this moment of surrender that true strength is found. Just think of the countless people who have found peace by letting go of control and trusting in God's plan. For example, in 1 Timothy 6:12, we're encouraged to fight the good fight of faith. But what does this fight look like? It's not about battling people or overcoming physical obstacles. It's about standing strong against the internal battles, our doubts, our fears, and the endless pressures of the world. It's a spiritual fight that requires us to stand firm in faith, even when everything seems to be crumbling around us. Faith in the face of spiritual battles. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that faith should make life easier. But if you've ever tried to walk this path, you know it's not that simple. Faith doesn't remove the challenges, but it transforms how we face them. This prayer highlights that the true fight isn't against things we can see, but rather the unseen forces: fear, doubt, and the pressure to conform to worldly standards. Let me share something personal here. I used to believe that if I just prayed hard enough, all my problems would disappear. But over time, I realized that faith isn't about asking for an easy life. It's about seeking the strength to face a difficult one. God never promised us an easy road, but He did promise us His presence and His power. In Isaiah 41:10, God tells us not to fear because He is with us. He offers us His strength and help. There have been times in my life when I felt like I couldn't go on. Maybe you've felt that way too, like you're at the end of your rope. But the truth is, God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. When we stop trying to do it all ourselves and start leaning on Him, that's when we begin to see breakthroughs. Surrendering our struggles. The prayer goes on to speak about placing our struggles and battles in God's hands. How many of us carry burdens we were never meant to bear? Whether it's family issues, financial stress, or personal insecurities, we often try to solve everything on our own, only to find ourselves burnt out and defeated. But what if surrender is the most powerful tool we have? When I faced a difficult time in my life where every door seemed closed and every solution out of reach, I decided to fully surrender my plans, my timeline, and my worries to God. And guess what? Things didn't change overnight, but my perspective did. I started to see that God was already working behind the scenes, aligning things in ways I couldn't imagine. It's this kind of surrender that the prayer emphasizes. Lord, I place my life, my struggles, and my battles in your capable hands. When we do that, we're not giving up. We're letting God take over, knowing that His plans are better than ours. And that is where true peace comes from. Standing strong in God's armor. The world is filled with challenges, both seen and unseen. The prayer speaks about putting on the full armor of God, which is a metaphor for being spiritually prepared for life's battles. Think of life as a battlefield, but instead of physical enemies, we're fighting against doubt, fear, and discouragement. The armor represents the tools God has given us: truth, righteousness, faith, and His Word. Imagine going into battle without protection. It's unthinkable, right? Yet, so many of us go into life struggles unprepared, trying to fight with our own strength. The Bible equips us with everything we need, like a soldier gearing up for war. And here's the best part, we're not fighting alone. God has promised to fight for us. Exodus 14:14 reminds us, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. This is a powerful image. It tells us that even in the chaos, we can find stillness, knowing that God is working on our behalf. God's protection over us and our loved ones. Life is unpredictable, and the prayer asks for protection over both the speaker and their loved ones. In today's world, where dangers seem to be around every corner, it's natural to worry about the people we care about. Whether it's health concerns, accidents, or simply the unpredictability of life, we can't control everything, but the good news is, God can. I found comfort in praying for my family, knowing that while I can't be there to protect them 24/7, God can. He sees what we cannot see and shields us from dangers we don't even know exist. The prayer for protection is one that many of us relate to deeply, as we long to keep our loved ones safe. Finding rest in God's presence. The closing of the prayer is a powerful reminder that we are never alone. It speaks of trusting in God's unchanging love, His steadfastness, and His mercy. This is where we find rest, knowing that no matter what comes our way, God is always in control. Here's the lesson: life is unpredictable, and battles are inevitable, but we don't have to face them on our own. God's strength, His protection, and His guidance are available to us if we only ask. We may not always understand the path we're on, but we can trust that it leads to something good. So, as you face your challenges today, remember this: you are not alone. God is fighting for you, and with His strength, you can overcome anything. If this video has touched your heart, please let us know in the comments. And remember, no matter how tough life gets, you have the strength to persevere, because God is by your side every step of the way.